when people hear the word Iran, it comes the war, the revolution. There's just so many negative things that comes to their mind. But when I think about Iran, Iran to me is a scent of saffron, the scent of rose water, the scent of jasmine, and the hospitality, the kindness of the people, the generosity, and the history, culture, the poetry of Rumi and Hafiz and Sadi. This is what I remember. This is where I come from.
Today's episode is brought to you by MMG Wealth Management. Now let's get on to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Going Rogue 2.0 podcast, where we are celebrating possibilities, and we're doing that through inspiration, motivation, education, and activation. Today we are in the historic Story and Clark Piano Factory, and today's guest is from a country full of history and culture and so many nuances that I'm so excited to dive into. Please welcome to the show, Sholeh Veiseh.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Melissa. I'm so excited being here.
You should be. Thank you for being here.
know?
I was thinking back to the first time I met you was in your store. So Sholeh owned and operated Down to Earth here in Grand Haven, Michigan for many years. How long?
Oh, almost 35.
35
Actually,
years?
this month is 35, but I sold the business like 6 months ago. So
we'll
7
talk
months
about
ago.
that too, because I think that's a neat
Yeah.
legacy that I always talk about legacy, and I think that we live a legacy,
Yes.
we leave a legacy,
Yeah.
and hopefully
Yeah.
we have awareness around
Yes, yeah.
making a positive legacy impact. So I was looking back at my phone, and it was in 2016 that my husband was in a wedding, and I was not part of the wedding party, but I wanted a beautiful dress, and you helped me decide on the dress. It was white with big red roses or flowers on it, and then it had a really beautiful detail of a ribbon woven through it. And I've worn it so many times, and you were just so helpful to me because I wasn't sure, and you encouraged me to just try on different things. And so I know you've tried lots of different things in your life and had many different
believe me.
experiences. So
Yes.
today we're going to get to have a conversation about those
Absolutely.
different
Yes,
experiences.
I can't wait to see where the conversation takes us.
Good. Well, I would like to start out with, first of all, the reason you and I are sitting here today is because I have been trying to get out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to learn and understand more about your home country. And it's a country that is in the media a lot, and I felt like I just had a duty to know and understand not the politics, but the people. And you are part of the people, and you're here, and you shared so many beautiful things with me that we'll talk about and we'll share with our listeners, and really pay honor to the culture and the history and the geography and all the beautiful things that you know and love about your country. So why don't you just start out kind of giving an overview of where you're from, the country, and some of the things that are near and dear to your heart about where you grew up.
Okay. So I am from Iran, and I was born in Iran, and my husband and I migrated to United States 42 years ago. So that makes that when I was 22 years old, with my husband, 5 years older than me, 27. My husband graduated from Arizona State, came back to Iran. We met, and he decided to come back to continue his education. And we came back. That was 42 years ago. Then my son was born a year, like 9 months after we got to United States, and then my other son, Omid, 4 years after that. So when I think of Iran, it is, first of all, what a perfect timing for us to meet again and for you to have me here, because I think this is such a crucial time in the history of the world to educate people about what is going on in the world. And really, when people hear the word Iran, it comes the war, the revolution. There's just so many negative things that comes to their mind. But when I think about Iran to me is a scent of saffron, a scent of rose water, a scent of jasmine. I remember my grandmother used to put jasmine in her bra, and whenever she held me, I, I just that's what reminds me of. And the hospitality, the kindness of the people, the generosity, and the history, culture, the rich culture, the poetry of Rumi and Hafez and Sadi. They are all, this is what I remember. This is where I come from. And that the culture of love of nature. And it's like thousands of years of old culture. And when you walk in the streets of any city in Iran, you it is like a museum. Every home, the buildings that they can be hundreds of years old. It is the beauty of them. It just, have you experienced going? Have you been to Europe? You know what I mean? But then again, Europe is just not even as old. When you go to Rome, do you feel it? When I went to Rome, I felt like, oh my God, I and close my eyes. I am like few hundred years back. And this is how Iran is. And so it's just really, really dear to my heart. And that's what I want people to know about that country. I want them to go beyond the politics, beyond what we are fed every day.
Yes, it's so difficult. That's part of the reason I have reached out to you, trying to
Yes.
learn more. You just get all one dimensional, one message, which is not positive. Largely.
Yes.
So, yeah, when you were sharing with me about the history and then what is happening, that a lot of it's being destroyed, it broke my heart.
Yes, it is when the bombing of Tehran was going on. First of all, my parents live there. My parents are 88 years old, and my mom has dementia. So, on top of that, I was just, every time the bombs hit a historical place, when I say historical, hundreds of years old, that they are all UNICEF protected. And I just like heartbroken because of that, because not only my children and my grandchildren, great grandchildren, is part of their uh, ancestry. You know what I mean? They're part of their history. And then you and your children deserve to go and see them and see what history has left us. The way you go to Europe or China, any other country, and when you go their historic places, you just like, wow, you're in awe in the with the beauty of the cultures, different cultures. And that's the beauty of all of us. That's what we need to celebrate as humans, the difference between us. You know, you and I have such a different background, the way we grow up, different culture, different countries, but we have so much more in common.
We just have to figure out what it is sometimes and take the
And that is so
step,
much
right?
because our commonality is more about family, love. These are the ones that's more important. I really don't know, and I don't care what your politics belief are. I really don't. Because when I see and sit down with you, I see the beauty in you, the kindness, the love that you give to the people, your generosity. This is what I see. So, what even I should involve other elements that it just doesn't make any difference? You know what I mean? This is what we need to nurture within each other.
And I always think, like in my industry, learning new investments, I always build on what I already know to look at the similarities, and then I look at how things are different. And I think that's what we as people can do. Let's look for those similarities, look at the differences, but we don't have to have it be something that is divisive or takes us away from appreciating who we are as humans.
Exactly. And I think the politics wants us separated. You know what I mean? But we need to come together. We need to educate each other. At the beginning of the war, it was very scary because, as I said, my parents lived in Tehran, and there were like every hour we're just
And
bombarding.
they have to move. They have to.
My dad had to move few times, but then because of my mom's dementia, she was just confused. What's happening? Why every day I'm somewhere else? People with dementia don't like this kind of changes.
Right.
So few times my dad came back home. We just keep on saying, what? First of all, we didn't have any contact with them for a couple of weeks. But when he contacted, he said, I am back. I said, why you were back? He said, because just your mom cannot take it. I'd rather stay here. So the worry, the crying, the sobbing, all of that happened. But then I realized it's not going to resolve anything. I can sit down and cry forever, but it's not going to. It's going to, first of all, take away my energy that I need to give to my own family, my own children, my husband, my friends. You know what I mean? It just drains you if you want to sit down and constantly just worry.
It doesn't help anything.
No, the anxiety it brings you and the energy takes away from you. So it was interesting during that time, out of nowhere, after so long, I saw you. You know where we met.
Yes.
We saw each other again. Yes.
We're getting some beautification.
Yeah. Yes. And then a few days later, you contact me. It is just, I don't know if you believe that. I believe when you put your thoughts out to the universe, things keep on happening. And then friends showed up, and then I decided to have an event at the library that I'm going to have to educate people about
Awesome.
Iran. So
this is coming up.
Yes,
Okay.
in June 10th.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is what I can do.
You can be the voice that helps us learn.
Exactly.
And embrace differences and similarities. Because it's more about similarities.
There is so many of them that when I went to library, I'm working uh, with somebody at the library, and she's just like, oh my God, everything I showed her, the pictures, the videos from Iran, they were, it's like, so I'm just really excited. So that's why I am very excited about our sitting and conversation, because even if one person, we can make one person think that, oh, yeah, we've done our job. You know what I mean? I don't. Probably that's why you do this, don't you?
It's absolutely why I do this. Yes,
Yeah.
because we have to. We don't have to. We can choose not to exercise our mind, but I think that the world's so much better when we do, and it's more beautiful. And with the words, describe some of the different topography and the different geography.
So Iran, I think, is probably very close to United States. It's land of extremes. So in northern part, lush, beautiful forest and Caspian Sea. And I don't know if you know that Caspian Sea actually is a lake, is a salted lake, but because it is so big, they call it a sea. Okay, and then when you go the mountains of Tehran, central Iran, and it is like snow. We get snow in Tehran, and actually, we have the largest ski resorts in Middle East. A lot of people fly in to Tehran to just go to Tochal and all the Damovan
That blows my
mountains.
mind because I think of it in my mind, it's a desert country.
Isn't that? Yes, that's why I'm so excited to talk about this. And then, yes, on the southeast, there is a Lut Desert. So you can ski one day in Tehran, in like northern Tehran, in the mountains of Tochal, and then just a few hours later, and go to the desert and just. Then the south is where everything is happening now, is just the Persian Gulf. And it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. My husband he was raised in south of Iran and Khorramshahr. And that's where Iran and Iraq war started. Like, when was that? Like, oh God, time flies, like 45, 47 years ago when the Iran and Iraq war started. And he has such a good memory of, south of Iran is like Florida, humid, hot, but beautiful waters, beaches, and all of that is absolutely gorgeous. So, but unfortunately, my husband family lost everything during the war of Iran and Iraq. They had to move to Tehran, that where I lived, and so that's how we met.
Did they have to start all over from like their whole?
Fortunately, his dad was a businessman, and he had a summer home in Tehran. So they moved to that home in Tehran, but they lost everything they had in the south. Even the business was in the south. Um, so yeah, but yeah, it was a very, very sad situation. A lot of people lost a lot of things. Yeah, everything. Actually, how happened? They came and said Iraqis are coming, taking over the city. You just have to leave, and they shoved everybody in the buses, and they left their homes just exactly what it was, with the cars and stuff, and just he says all he had a chance his mother to do is just put his um, like jewelry in a box and
It
carry
was
that
that
with her.
abrupt.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's all they had time
We
to
can't
do that.
imagine that.
Yeah,
We
no. Yeah.
It seems unfathomable that could be a reality.
Yeah. And imagine you are in your event. I think they were in their early 60s when that happens. They're age-wise, both parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just losing everything. You know, you have so much dream that you already built your life and business and everything. And actually, for the rest of their lives, they lived through my mother-in-law selling all her jewelries to just live for in that couple of decades that they were alive after that, because that was the only source of income they had, because they lost everything. So, but by the time she died, it was all gone also. So then again, I was 18 when Iran Revolution happened. No, I was 16 actually. Yeah, and then so it's a lot that as a young person that I went through, and my husband the same way, the different way. He was as a victim of a war and the trauma of the war. It was just, he doesn't have any picture of his childhood.
Because they were destroyed.
Was destroyed.
And left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And then destroyed, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that about when the war ended, his mother wanted to see, go back to the city and see what happened to the house. And when they went back, she fainted because it was just nothing left. Everything was gone. It's just like the house, all the, like something about Persians are, they put carpets over carpets. Like she had carpet over, there's nothing, no furniture, no, even their safe was built into the wall. They cut the safe. They couldn't open it. They cut it and they took it out, and the wall had the big hole in it. I mean, they took everything. So she just was very heartbroken after that. It was really a big trauma for her. She just didn't want to go back anymore. She said, I'm not going to rebuild that home anymore. So she just stayed. They went back to Tehran.
And when you go back to Iran, how do you have the good memories, the bad memories? Do they compete with each other?
I have such a good memory. I have such a good time every time I go to Iran.
Can you repeat that?
Honestly,
people need to hear
guys,
that.
It is party every night. I get exhausted. I need a vacation when I go back to Iran, from cousins and friends and aunts and uncles. Everybody want piece of you. It's just everybody. Like, I have a 95-year-old aunt that she gives a big party every time we go there. And she cooks herself. She wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning.
And she's 95.
She's 95. And she cooks. And she just invites everybody. So, like, you go for lunch somewhere, and then dinner, somebody else dinner, and then again, the day start next day. Just like to the restaurant. They give you a party in the restaurant. They give you just like, and every time we're there, just like, we need a vacation after this because we don't get enough sleep. They don't sleep in Tehran. Honestly, the party starts like 9, 10 o'clock at night. They eat that day, and then again the next day. I don't know how they do it. Like, I am so spoiled here. I just have to go to bed by 9 o'clock. It's just
that's why you look so good. You get all your beauty sleep.
But no, over there, everybody just, it's great. I love it. Every time I go there, I have such a good time.
And you said a lot of it is around food and celebration. What are some of your favorite food dishes?
Oh my gosh. I have to cook for you one time.
I would love that.
Persian food is a form of art. I wish I had pictures of them. It is the kebabs and the stews and then every setting is so pretty, decorated with rice mixed with saffron, with pistachio, with different herbs and spices, and it's just yummy. It is so good. It just like it. Um, it is a form of art. It's not just cooking. It is. It's just a celebration of life, and then um, I just love it. We just my favorite. Honestly, I can't say what is my favorite because I think I love all of them.
Are there some ingredients that you can't get here in the States that you can only get at home?
Actually, these days you can get everything here.
Okay.
My goodness, it's so amazing that you can get everything. But what I love is when I go there, I just love to buy it there. I don't know why. Yeah, some of stuff like um, the spices, pretty much you can get it over here. Um, but it just feels good to go to Spice Bazaar and
Oh, the
just,
fragrance,
oh
right? The
my
aroma
God.
walking through there is going to be amazing.
When you go to the fruit shops over there, the scent of the fruit, that old times, how like the strawberries smelled like?
Yes. Like real
Still,
strawberries.
yes, still in Iran smells that way. You know, After this, I can show you a few picture of them. And it is, first of all, we are big in eating fruits. We do, just like fruits all over, just like piles and piles of fruits and fruit juices. And they are kiosk every few hundred meters that they juice everything in front of you. It's like pomegranate juice. And just that is one of my kids' favorite memory of Iran because like you go to this kiosk and they make any kind of juice. It's mostly like very popular is um, cantaloupe juice and watermelon juice
Mm.
um, and as I said, pomegranate juice. And my kids, when the first time I took them, and the second time they could go out themselves, and my son could not get enough of um, cantaloupe juice. Um, Talibi is cantaloupe. Up Talibi means cantaloupe juice. So even though he couldn't speak much of Farsi, and he knew Up Talibi, and said everywhere he go, we could walk down the street for a few hours, and he could have get every kiosk he goes and grab.
Did he come home and start
Oh my
making
gosh!
juice?
And still, every time I go, he said, "Mom, can you have Up Talibi for me?" Yeah. So yeah, that's one of things I just love.
And you were telling me that Shiraz
Shiraz, yeah.
was originated, the vines that were originally
Yes.
from Iran.
Yes. Yeah, the wine that
Yeah.
everybody, like internationally, everybody drinks. Um, Shiraz is a city in Iran and historic. And well, if anybody knows, 2,500 years ago, Achaemenid, Cyrus the Great, that they built Persepolis in Shiraz, and then that's where the best grapes were. And then I think somebody, a business person, moved those bushes and cultivated in Australia. So they started this huge, and then now I think there's a lot of them. They moved to California
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
So you can find the Shiraz in. So that's the origination of the name.
Are there
Very much.
other wine varieties that are native to Iran that you know of, or?
No, no, that's the only one because I
Oh.
really don't drink wine. I don't drink, but but then Shiraz, the name
Yeah.
always sticks with
Yep, it sure does.
you. Yeah. Have you had Shiraz?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Not from your country, though.
No, no.
I'll go into J-Dubs and ask if they can get that. Yeah.
Yes.
How would it feel to know that your money and values were in alignment, that you were able to live your ideal lifestyle and bless others? MMG Wealth Management is your advocate for living and leaving a legacy. Visit mmg-wealth.com to schedule your complimentary welcome call today. Our previous podcast guest, you had shared with me that she used to work for you, and I saw her this week, Randy Lynn, and she was telling me how much of an inspiration you were to her when
Who is that?
Randy Lynn Telsma.
Oh my gosh, I
Yes,
love Randy.
that she was able to go on a buying trip with you, and she just was so appreciative for you opening up new avenues for her. And why don't you talk about some of the highlights of your 35 years of being a small town business owner, and then taking that big, huge leap and moving in a new direction with what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, everybody has an exciting story about how they dreamed about owning a business, and mine didn't start it that way. My husband and I were immigrants, so all we knew that he wanted to have education because that's the important thing in our culture. One time we can talk about that. And when it came to, for me, having 2 kids at that point to do something, he said, why don't you open a business? I said, okay.
Just
So
like that?
yeah, because I had a choice, go back to school or just own a business. And it started
Which
with,
is an education in itself.
oh my
right?
God. And believe me, that was my school
Mm.
because I did not know anything about owning a business. I didn't go to school here. I didn't know the rules. And it was 35 years ago. I was young. And one time we went to a friend business to buy jewelry for myself. And then I look at the custom jewelry, and look at the custom jewelry, and I said, oh my God. I told my husband, I can sell these to other people. These are such a beautiful custom jewelry. So I bought tons of those custom jewelry, came back to Grand Haven, and start going store to store and selling them to the stores. And the stores keep on calling me.
They wanted more.
They wanted more. So that was my thing. And then somebody said, why don't you have your own, go get a kiosk in the mall.
Mm.
And you sell it yourself instead of just selling, then the markup's going to be more. So this is what I did. I went, you remember, are you originally from West Michigan?
Not originally. Up north, West Michigan.
Okay, but there
not
was
down here.
There was a Muskegon Mall.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the old mall.
You remember that?
Yep.
I used to have a kiosk there.
You did.
Yes. And it's just a small kiosk selling my jewelry. And and then my husband was passing by Chinook Pier and said, maybe you should just have a store, just sell it in a store. So that's what I did. My first store was in Chinook Pier.
Okay. I didn't know that either.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So for a couple of years, I was in Chinook Pier. And then, again, my husband, as he was just going downtown, and he said, oh, there is an empty store and downtown. Do you want to just move from Chinook Pier to downtown? And then where, the old Lee and Birch used to be.
Yep.
That's where I moved to downtown right there. And then that's where I added more clothing, and import from like Guatemala. And so I even didn't go to the shows at all. I just didn't know there are shows that exist. So this see, that's how I learned.
Just one step
One
at a
step
time.
at a
Yeah.
time, with not much money, just saving everything. And just that was my school. It was, some people go like 4 years school
Yeah.
for their, business school, whatever. That was my school. That down to earth, the movement from one place and another, how to do my accounting, how to do this. I just learned as I went.
So learning as you went.
As I went.
Did that help eliminate and reduce fear, or did you have some fears that you encountered as you were building this business?
Okay, when you're an immigrant, that's the scariest thing in your life. After that, everything comes easy. At the age of 22, my husband and I left everything that we've known all of our lives. We left our parents, family, everything, our friends, and came to another continent. Start with nothing. We didn't have anything when we came here. We just had one luggage. And I remember I was like a few months later when I was pregnant, my sister-in-law came and visited us. She said, Sholeh, I remember you had 2 pregnancy dresses. When I was pregnant, I had 2 dresses. You washed one, you wore one. You washed one, you wore one. So because we just, and it was like, that's life. We're here. We're here with the purpose. We just do what we have to do. And after you go through that, and after 9 months, your child is born, and you have nobody to help you, you and yourself with a C-section. And my husband was full-time working and going to school. He was working at a Subway store and making like $3 something an hour, full-time going to school. So I am the full-time mom, and my son was 9 pound, 10 ounce.
Ooh.
And doctor told me, don't carry anything heavy. And I just like, okay, do I have any other choices? So I'm sorry that I'm going to all different direction with our conversation. But
That's great. It's an evolution of, let's pull it all in.
Like, you have to stop me somewhere. Okay, please do.
So and I had asked you if it was scary to
yes,
have a business.
So that's what I am saying. And now I'm where I am with my son.
Yeah.
9 pound, 10 ounce. Oh,
but there's a good lesson in there. Like, we can feel sorry for ourselves and struggle with what goes on in our mind, but we just got to start doing things.
Exactly. And I didn't have any other choice. Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to quit. You're going to, you just have to keep on going. And honestly, the first 10 years of my business, I really was not making money. It was just surviving and learning, and and then as I start learning what I'm doing, what the heck you're doing, it's like, okay, now I can go. And then this guy that I was buying jewelry from, he said, Sholeh, why don't you go to shows? I said, what are shows? She said, you can go to New York and see hundreds of places like me. And he was so kind that he just like, you go and pick and choose. You don't have to just buy jewelry from me. So
when you go to those, so I've been to Chicago to
Merchandise Mart.
Yes, with Carlin, my friend Carlin D. Graham. So I'm like, that's huge. So is New York even bigger than Chicago's?
New York, Vegas, Atlanta, they're like the largest one. So 34 years ago, that was my first trip to New York. So again, when I didn't know anything, I just thought, oh, it's New York City. I dressed up to the nine and just like high heels. And an hour into the show, I start like being in pain of my high heels because this show was so huge. I took my shoes off, put it in my purse, and started walking barefoot because this is how much I knew about this is not the way you go to a show.
Right.
Yeah. You know that when you went
you
to the
change your apparel now,
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you?
yeah. So, yeah, and that's when I started to go to New York City and saw, oh my God, it changed my world of start buying um, clothing. I remember this. I went to this clothing. I love their clothing. And I said, um, oh, I like that dress. Can I have one of this, one of this? And he said, you can't buy one.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah.
See, that's how I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And then he said, no, you have to buy a pack of 6. And I said, I don't know if I can sell a pack of 6. And he said, do you have a business? It's just like, but then again, oh, okay, let's try. Buy pack of 6 of all of these. Yeah. And
Is a pack of 6 all one size?
no, like 2, 2, 2.
Okay.
Too small, too medium, too larges. But I mean, the reason I'm saying all of this is because I just didn't know anything. But I learned. I step over my fears and just like, you have to just learn. And there's no other way. There's no choice.
Right.
So,
And that's a great lesson to take with us in the day to day. Just try, just learn. It's not anything to be like afraid of or even carry shame or anything.
shame.
It's
Yes,
okay to not know things.
exactly. And ask questions. And I've realized people are more willing to teach you. They love it when you ask questions.
Like in what ways do you feel like you've been able to be a mentor and help people now, and maybe it's even now with your new endeavor after selling the store. You have a heart for giving back in different ways.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you are serving others.
First of all, mm, every time I had an employee, I saw myself
Mm.
with if they if they didn't know things. And what I believe that everybody wants to do their best at all times. So all they need to know how. You just need to teach them, be an example for them, and embrace this. It's okay to make mistakes. So that's what I loved when I hired these young, all girls actually, um, that didn't know anything, but when they left, they just were a different person. And I just love watch them grow. And that was one of the way it made me it was a selfish way to just make me feel good to watch them grow after a few years working at my store. But then again, being part of this community and the support that I saw through the community and where my business was and where I was like a few years later, I couldn't have done it if it wasn't because of people like you and support of them then coming and showing up. And I felt like it's my responsibility that take care of this community also somehow, somewhere. And I started to having small fashion shows, raising money from different nonprofits. I remember my first one was, I think, from Love Inc. For Love Inc. I would raise money, like very small, just few people showed up. Like we raised $1,500 for Love Inc. And then the first big one was my first fashion show. Actually, it was in this building.
Oh,
Raised money for the boardwalk. Do you remember while they were building the boardwalk, they needed money?
yes.
So we raised, God, it's like long time ago. I don't want to say something and people say, oh no, that was not that much. But it was $25,000 we raised for the boardwalk. And that
For a
was
fashion show in a
me, small
tourist town.
yes. It was awesome. It was so exciting. And then I get to know Cyril Lukowski from Mosaic Counseling. And I saw what they are doing for our community, giving back to our community, just like, about Mosaic. Yeah, they
Yes.
provide, I've seen you, few of our benefits, provide free and affordable counseling for people that cannot afford it. And they fit you with a counselor the same day. And there's no other program in state of Michigan that does that the same day. They fit you with a counselor. So you can call Mosaic and they find someone for you. And so we started, again, fundraising for Mosaic. Our fashion show started probably $25,000. And like last year, we raised over $200,000 for them.
That is absolutely
It's just like,
phenomenal.
so, and that was my last year as the owner of Down to Earth. And after a few years, I started asking other stores to join us. And that's amazing. The Buffalo Bob and Earth's Edge joined us and made it bigger and bigger. And
It really became a community
isn't it?
effort. Yeah.
Yes. And then Mosaic asked me to be part of their board. So now I sit on the board of Mosaic Counseling and do a lot of fundraising.
Considering the possibilities, who knew that
Oh my God.
selling jewelry door to door on the storefronts down here could lead to all of that?
Honestly, I hope that the people that they're out there, that they probably is a lot of trauma where they were raised, and there is a lot of negativity, and they're just like, I can't. There's so much possibility out there. And as I said, my husband and I really didn't have anything when we came. And I had to wash my clothes to wear another one. So, I mean, there is so much possibilities in this world, in this country. And we are blessed with so much that, we just need to take advantage of all of that. Yeah.
Sholeh, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing part of who you are and the experiences that you've had. And I know you're going to continue to make a positive impact and bless our community. And it's not just one person at a time that you're blessing. By doing what you do, it is a ripple effect, and it's creating a positive momentum that's going to continue to be felt for years and years and years to come. So thank you for being here with me on the podcast. And if this resonated with you, please give a comment, share the episode, and
Thank
and
you.
like us,
Yes.
and give a shout out to Sholeh.
Oh my God, the time is over.
It's
I was just
Do you have more?
No. No, I mean that it's just like amazing how the time went by, and
And this was her first podcast, so
ever
consider those possibilities.
I know. God, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, and you're an excellent guest. And I can't wait for the world to hear your parts of your story.
Yes, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The content of this podcast is educational in nature and not intended as any form of or substitute for personalized investment advice. Melissa Myers owns Bayou Financial Planning LLC, which does business as MMG Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor, providing personalized investment advice under a standard agreement for a fee.